everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my first ever tag video here on YouTube, which is really exciting. So as you can see from the title, I'm doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. I know this is like 2 months late, but I was out of town pretty much this entire summer and I still really wanted to participate in this tag. I think this will be a really cool way of keeping track of books that I love throughout each year, so I definitely plan on doing this tag for as many years as I want to. So yeah, let's just get into it. I have my whole list of questions and answers in my cute reading bullet journal. Look how cute that is. This is by Ariel Jovellanos. She has a really great website of bullet journals as well as like bookish prints, also prints that have to do with like superheroes and movies and musicals, and she's so talented. I absolutely adore her stuff. This bullet journal is also like really great quality, and it was about like 20 bucks, but I think it's so worth it because it's just really great quality and I just love supporting small businesses, so I definitely recommend her website. And I just realized that my eyeshadow matches my bullet journal, which is really funny. I did not plan that at all, but yeah, I will link her website down below because she's just really great. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to get into all of the questions. I'll also have the questions all typed out down below so that if you guys still want to participate in this tag and you haven't yet, you can. So the first question is best book of the year that you have read so far. This year has been a little weird for me reading wise. I've read about 80 books so far, but I've only given 8 books 5 stars. It's weird. I'm liking a lot of the books that I'm reading, but I end up giving a lot of them 4 stars as opposed to 5 stars. I really only give books a 5 star if it's something that like completely just blew me away and I'm obsessed with and I could see myself reading over and over and over again. So the one that I ended up picking is one that's probably going to be on a lot of people's lists for top books of the year, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. The audiobook for this was absolutely incredible. It had a full cast of characters, of really great voice actors, and Taylor Jenkins Reid just has an amazing way of telling stories. I adore her writing style. She makes these characters just seem so real. But I did talk about this book in one of my wrap-ups. I'll be sure to link down below each wrap-up of each book that I talk about in this video so that you guys can check out more of my in-depth thoughts. So the next prompt is best sequel. This one was actually kind of hard for me to come up with an answer for. For one thing, I haven't read a ton of sequels yet this year, which is something that I'm definitely going to remedy in the second half of the year, but also all of the sequels that I've read, I've given all pretty much the same rating of like either a 4 or 4.5 stars. But when I really thought about it, I knew that I had to pick Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, and I read this back in April. I absolutely loved how much this book just expanded the world of the Throne of Glass series. I adored the introduction of Manon and Abraxos and that whole storyline, as well as Selena / Aelin and Rowan's storyline and her being in Wendlin and her discovering her powers and like all of these things, and it made me really excited to keep continuing with the series, so I had to give this best sequel so far. Okay, the next prompt is new release that you want to read, and I'm going to give that to The Bride Test by Helen Huang. I actually finally read The Kiss Quotient a couple of days ago and I absolutely loved it. I will definitely feature that in my mid-month wrap-up, and this is a companion novel to that. So this essentially follows Kai, who was kind of a minor character in Kiss Quotient. He really wasn't featured much at all, and basically his mom is trying to find like a mail order bride for him, and the story goes on from there. Yeah, I'm just really excited to read this. Spoiler alert, I gave Kiss Quotient 5 stars, so I feel like I'm gonna enjoy this one as well. And the next one is most anticipated release. I'm going to give this to Supernova by Marissa Meyer. I'll put the cover right here, but this is the 3rd and final installment of the Renegades trilogy, which is a series that I wanted to read for so long, and I don't know why. I've just been an idiot and I haven't picked up the first 2 books yet. I own them. I have Arch Enemies over there and Renegades is the first book. I have them, but I just haven't picked them up, and I think what I'm gonna do is when Supernova comes in, because I definitely pre-ordered it, when Supernova comes in, I'm just gonna like binge the whole trilogy and just love my life and probably film a reading vlog. So yeah, look forward to that. Next is biggest disappointment. Okay, I'm going to give that to Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is the 3rd and final book in the Grisha trilogy, or the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I gave this book 2 stars mainly because most of it was pretty boring. The ending was really good and there were some good aspects to it, but yeah, most of this book was pretty boring, which is why I didn't put that many tabs in it. I don't even know if you can see that. But yeah, it was just pretty underwhelming overall, and I was so disappointed because I want the final book of any series to really just like knock my socks off, and This didn't, unfortunately. The next prompt is biggest surprise. I'm going to give that to Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is a modern retelling of Cinderella, as you can kind of tell from the title. I did not expect much out of this book. I thought it was just going to be a fluffy YA novel, really nothing special to it. But honestly, I absolutely adored this. I gave it 5 stars. It definitely blew me away to the point where I had to pre-order the next book in the series, which was The Princess and the Fangirl, which I also really enjoyed. But this book in particular was just like so well done. Loved all the characters. I thought they were all really well developed. I loved the story, how it was taking place at like a Comic-Con type thing. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this book. Definitely recommend it if you love fun YA romances that are also a little bit different and have kind of a twist to them. I'm also really excited because the 3rd book in this series is coming out next year, and it is going to be a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Next is new favorite author. I was kind of going back and forth with this one. I was thinking of giving it to Marissa Meyer because I read her whole Lunar Chronicles series last year and I read Heartless this year. Loved them both. But there's another author that I have really fallen in love with, and that is Bridget Kemmerer. She wrote Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell. She also just came out with another YA contemporary romance that I can't wait to get my hands on, but right now it's just a little too expensive on Amazon, so I'm gonna have to wait for that. She also has written A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which is actually a book that I plan on putting on my TBR next month. Which is going to be really cool because that's a fantasy series, and that I feel like that's going to be really different from her other books. So yeah, I absolutely adore her writing style, her characters, everything about her. She definitely has a talent for writing. I gave both Letters to the Lost and More Than We Can Tell 5 stars, a very enthusiastic 5 stars. I was completely blown away by them, and yeah, as you can tell, I like absolutely adore her work, and I can't wait for her to just keep writing, and I will keep reading whatever she puts out. Okay, and the next prompt is newest fictional crush. Okay, this one was actually pretty easy for me. That is going to be Julian Blackthorne from the Dark Artifices trilogy. I just have Lady Midnight here with me, but I love Julian so much. If he was a real person and he loved me the way that he loves Emma in these books, my life would be perfect. Yeah, I just love that his personality is like different from most like YA heroes. He's more sensitive, he's artistic, he's not like that stereotypical brooding bad boy like Jace is from the Mortal Instruments, although I have come to love Jace as well. But Julian is just so different, and I love how he loves Emma, and I love how he loves his family, and yeah, I could talk about him for hours, but I should probably stop myself. The next prompt is newest favorite character, and that one is pretty easy. That is going to be Stella from The Kiss Quotient. Like I said, I finished this book like 3 days ago, but Stella is an absolutely incredible romantic heroine lead protagonist character. I love her so much. So she actually has autism spectrum disorder, but I absolutely love how she's just so much more than her autism. And I just love how strong and kind and courageous and loving she is. As much as I liked Michael, who was her love interest in this book, Stella was really the standout character, as the protagonist should be. But sometimes side characters kind of steal the thunder away from the main characters, but Stella is like absolutely incredible. She was a real person. I would want her to be my BFF. I gave this book 5 stars. Go read it. Okay, we have just a couple more prompts left. The next one is a book that made you cry, and that is What I Lost by Alexandra Ballard. I'm going to leave the link to the wrap-up where I talked about this book in depth down below, but this book is essentially about Elizabeth, who has an eating disorder, and she ends up going to a rehab facility to help her heal from that addiction, essentially. And this book was just like so real and raw and powerful, and towards the end, her conversations that she was having with her parents just like totally broke me, and I found myself crying while reading this. Definitely gave this book 5 stars, and I totally recommend it. And then next is book that made you happy. That is Heretics Anonymous by Katie Henry. I absolutely adored this book. This was actually the first book that I finished this year, and this centers around Michael, who is an atheist, and he gets sent to a Catholic high school, and he makes these really great friends, and they form a group called the Heretics Anonymous, where they essentially kind of complain about about the school and about Catholicism in general, and it was just a really great time. I laughed out loud so many times while reading this, which like never happens when I read. But yeah, it was just so much fun, but also like really good, and there is some depth to it. The characters are really great. I talked about this in my January wrap-up part 1, which again, I will link down below, and I can't wait to read more of Katie Henry's works. Okay, we're almost there. One of the last prompts is most beautiful book that you bought this year, and that is The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. I actually just recently read this, and I will feature this in my mid-month wrap-up, like I said, but I mean, come on, look at this gorgeous Waterstone edition. It has like the beautiful runes on it, and I can't wait to collect more of these editions of these Shadowhunter books. And the last prompt is books you need to read by the end of the year. And where do I start with that? There's so many, but I think I'm gonna narrow it down to, I really want to make a really good dent in my series TBR. Basically, I did this whole spread in my bullet journal where I listed all of the series that I currently own, and I put little check boxes around each book. And I don't know if you can see, but this page is actually pretty empty. I haven't read most of these books that are on this list. So there's a few series that I really want to put on priority. Like I said, the Renegades trilogy. I really want to do my first ever reread of the Harry Potter series. I of course want to finish the Throne of Glass series, which I don't think will be a problem. I want to read Vampire Academy. I also want to read the Legend trilogy, which is crazy because I've owned Legend, the first book, for like 5 years and I still haven't read it. I also want to read Three Dark Crowns. I really want to read the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I think I'm going to do the same thing that I'm doing with Renegades, where I'm going to wait for my pre-order of the Queen of Nothing to come in, and then I'll just binge the entire trilogy and I will love my life. And then I also want to make a priority of reading A Court of Thorns and Roses and the Six of Crows duology. So yeah, all of that is quite ambitious. I really want to make the series that I own a priority from this point on for the rest of the year. And yeah, that's going to be it for my mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you will consider subscribing. Don't forget to push that notification button down below so that you will be notified every time I upload. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!